In this video, I'll be taking a look at the final league tables from non-league from step 1 right down to step 5. This will mostly be southern based, so unfortunately if you're expecting to see the league tables from the north or the Midlands or the southwest, then unfortunately they will not be in this video. So what I'm going to be doing is going through those teams that got promoted, those that went down, those that we are surprised that went up, those that we're surprised that went down. Plus we'll be looking at teams that we think did pretty well in general in their respective leagues. So the first league we'll be looking at today is the National League, and without surprise really, it is Wrexham who were the league champions, finishing on 111 points, but also a big shout out to the other team that went up from this league, Notts County, who finished on 107. But I think the right two sides went up. I mean, they're the biggest sides in this league by a country mile. Wrexham obviously being very rich now, they're Hollywood actor owners, and Notts County are a very old club, one of the oldest clubs in England, so rightly they deserve to go up. They've both been fantastic in the process. Woking done well as well, finishing in 4th position. So did Bournemouth and Bromley respectively. Shout outs as well to Southend, who finished in 8th despite quite a few winding up petitions during the season. And also to Dorking, who finished in 16th, only one of two part-time sides in step 1 of non-league. Mark White has done a fantastic job of them, and I can't recommend watching a bunch of amateurs on YouTube enough to watch their sort of story and journey unfold. It's been an incredible journey for them, and they've done, I mean, they wanted to stay up, that was the main goal, and Mark White and his team have done fantastic to do that, so fair play to them. But going down, I think we'll find not one, not two, but 3 big shocks this season. So finishing in 24th was the first team to get relegated, Maidstone United, going back down to the National League South. But joining them are Scunthorpe, Yeovil and Torquay. I mean, Torquay, they were in National League South only a few years ago, but they're still a big club, I think, and they do deserve better than step 2 of non-league. But Yeovil and Scunthorpe, wow, we would never have expected that. I mean, Scunthorpe United finishing in 23rd. They were in the Championship only recently, 10, 11 years ago, and Yeovil for certain in 22nd, getting relegated as well, joining them. They were in the Championship only 10 years ago. So what a change it has been in the last 10 years for these two clubs, going from the Championship down to National League South and North respectively. You can't help but feel for their fans, but I'm sure hopefully one day they will bounce back and be back where they belong. So going down to the National League South now, and it's no surprise that Ebbsfleet United were the crowned league champions. They were called Moneybags for Ebbsfleet United in that league, so it is no surprise in a way. But of course, finishing on 103 points is not easy, and they've done very, very well. And the other side joining them in the National League next season is Oxford City. They finished in 3rd position, but they won the playoff final. They battered St Albans City. So Oxford City, obviously more than deserving of going up, and they're now just 2 leagues away from neighbours Oxford United. Could you imagine it one day it could happen? They could be playing each other. Worthing, who got only promoted last season, done very well finishing in the playoffs. They finished in 4th position. Getting relegated, no surprise, Hungerford Town. They've been in that league a few years now, and with what could be considered a very small budget and a very small fan base, they were punching above their weight for quite a few years. And this year there was a bit of a late charge to stay up and maybe cause a miracle and stay up, but it didn't quite happen. They'll find themselves back in the Southern League Premier South next season. And also going down is Cheshunt, Concord Rangers and Dulwich Hamlet. Dulwich Hamlet with gates of 2,000 to 3,000 a game. Big shocker there. I thought they were going to do well. They didn't. They'll find themselves in the Isthmian Premier Division next season. It's going to be hard to come back from this, but Dulwich Hamlet are a well-supported side, and I'm sure they can do it. But I think the biggest surprise, not just of this league, but I think the entire non-league pyramid for me, is Weymouth. They just about stayed up on the final day on 19th position. They were down the bottom 4 most of the season, and Bobby Wilkinson came in. He's kept them up and done a fantastic job. They even leapfrogged Dover. So yeah, Dulwich Hamlet, Dover and Weymouth all on 48 points, but Weymouth stand up on goal difference along with Dover Athletic. Well, fair play, Weymouth. You've done fantastic to stay up on the final day of the season. I can't congratulate you enough. I mean, that's incredible. An incredible achievement. I don't really know much else about the other teams in mid-table, but you can make of it what you will and let me know what you think. But Taunton Town actually, in 14th, done very well as well. They come from the Southern League Premier South the previous season, so not bad to finish mid-table in their first season in National League South. Now, I wasn't going to mention this league actually. It's the Isthmian League Premier Division. Bishop Stortford won that league on 88 points, and they actually are going to the National League North, surprisingly. It's been a big debate online on social media recently. Should they be in National League South or North? Logically, they're going to have to be in North because they are, the most southern team, most northern team sort of from the National League South. So they had to end up there somehow. And getting relegated from that league is Brighton and Sea Regent, Corinthian Casuals, Herne Bay, and Bowers and Pitsea. Now, the other reason I want to mention this league is because Bowers and Pitsea have been relegated. Hashtag United will be in this league next season, and Bowers and Pitsea will be the league below hashtag. So that's a bit bizarre, isn't it? A bit of a bizarre thing, but yeah, I mean, the other team to go up as well is Aveley, who find themselves in National League South next season, the first time in the club's history. Aveley beating, I think it was Hornchurch in the playoff final away, an incredible achievement for them. And for Aveley, this is dreamland for them, back-to-back promotions. It's an incredible effort. But yeah, again, make of it what you will, the rest of this league table. Now, one of the leagues I do know most about in this video is the Southern League Premier South. Obviously, my team, Bracknell Town, finishing very well in second position. You'd know from the vlogs who went up and who went down, etc. But of course, we have to go over it again. So, Western-super-Mare League champions on 93 points, 3 points ahead of Bracknell. Look, Western-super-Mare, they deserved it. Best team won. If it wasn't for that 2-2 draw at the start of the season at Bracknell, then maybe Bracknell could have won the league, you could say. But it is a game of fine margins, and Western-super-Mare ultimately deserved that league title. The other team going up was Truro City. They beat us Bracknell 3-2 at the SB Stadium in the final, right at the death. It was absolute heartbreak, but Truro City, one of the other bigger sides in this league, and they deserved it. They beat us every league game, so fair play to them, and rightly so. They're back in National League South, and hopefully one day they'll get a new home. But yeah, the other teams finishing in the playoffs are Paul Town and Cheshire United. These are two sides that are back next season for promotion in the 23-24 season. And right at the bottom getting relegated, Hartley Whitney, Yate Town, Northley and Harrow Borough. Hartley Whitney had an awful season. They find themselves back down in step 4 next season in the Ishmael South Central. Northley, do you know what, right? Northley, I thought were certainly going to go down. They were a pretty awful side. But late on in the season, they had a bit of they strung a few good wins together, and they could have pulled off a miracle right at the end of the season. Unfortunately, they couldn't. They just dropped too many points in the last few weeks of the season. Harrow Borough were the last team to get relegated. However, there's been a change of plan. Met Police have taken a voluntary relegation next season, and Harrow Borough have been reprieved, although allegedly they didn't want that. So they find themselves still up step 3 next season. Some teams I'm surprised about, and some teams I'm happy for. So Gosport Borough in 17th. I'm surprised they finished so low down. I thought they got one of the biggest average attendances in this league, and I'm just surprised to see them down there. Got some good ex-Portsmouth players in there, and some youth ex-Portsmouth players. Winchester City, special shout out to them in 16th, their main target. Speaking to Craig Davis, pre-season was to stay up. Not only did they stay up, but they stayed up a few places above those other teams that stayed up. So a fantastic achievement for them, and I look forward to going away there again next season. And Hamill Town, who come up from step 4 the previous season, finishing 14th. They had a good start to the season in a playoff place, but they dropped points from the second half of the season, I think it was, and they basically just fell down the league table. And I think one of the surprise teams that didn't do well was Hayes and Yedden. I mean, 7th isn't a bad position, don't get me wrong, but Hayes and Yedden were, I think, one of the top sides to get promoted, and they, in their terms, I think maybe they failed miserably, but maybe next season is their season, who knows. Another league that I know quite a lot about is the Ishmael South Central Division, and as you can see, Basingstoke Town were crowned the champions on the final day, and not just the final day, but the very final minute of the entire season. Wharton Hersham, after beating Basingstoke 5-1 in April, were top of the league, and it looked like theirs for the taking, but you could say they bottled it in a way. They'd done very well. They were 1-0 down second half, Wharton, and then they come back to 2-1, and then right at the death, Ashley Howe scored an equaliser for Thatcham Town, which gave Basingstoke Town the league title right at the death. But however, Wharton Hersham couldn't be down in the dumps for too long, because they won the playoff final, beating Hamworth Villa 3-1, and in front of a record attendance at their ground, over 2,200 people in attendance. So both teams overall deserving of their promotions, and them two were top of league in the top 2 positions by a mile. I'd say 20 points above the rest in the playoff places. So the two right teams went up this season. Hamworth Villa finishing in 4th, like I said, making that playoff final. They come from step 5 previous season. They'd done very well. Northwood in 5th. They surprised me, because they were top of the table early on in the season, and they had a great start to the season, but then they just kept dropping points, and it all went wrong for them, and they find themselves still at step 4 next season. But again, good effort from them all round. League favourites going into the season were Leatherhead. They finished in 7th position. They started off very poorly, a lot worse than that, but again, I mean, 7th is a disappointing result for them, I think, overall, but I think maybe the fans would be happier how the season went on. They were near the bottom, I think, or below below mid-table, and they come back and they finish in 7th, not far off the playoffs. So in the end, I think it's not a bad end to their league campaign. Another team, Chertsey Town in 8th position. I think they were another favourite to go up. They went through 2 or 3 managerial changes during the season. I think they'll be bitterly disappointed with their season overall, and they're going to have to bounce back next season in this division. Westfield finished in 12th. They started off very well, beating Basingstoke 4-0 and Leatherhead 4-0 in the opening 2 league fixtures. They've now got Ian Selly in charge at the helm, and he's done a great job for them. Finishing in 12th is not a bad finish at all. I thought it would have been higher, maybe the playoffs, given their results at the start of the season and their performances. But I think 12 overall is not bad. Fatcham in 13th, not bad for them at all. They started off near the bottom, a very poor start to the season, and I think they'll be happy finishing. Guernsey staying up in 15th position, another team who done very poor at the start of the season. The Little Island team, yeah, they improved a lot during the course of the season, and maybe they'll push for a playoff spot next season. In the relegation playoff spots, you had Sutton Common Rovers and Mercham in 17th and 18th. Both teams won their relegation playoff games, so they'll be remaining in this league next season. Though Mercham have been relocated to the Isthmian South East League, I think it is, for next season. Getting automatically relegated, 2 big shocks here. Bedfont Sports and Tooting and Mitcham United. Tooting and Mitcham, a lot has gone on behind the scenes. Fans aren't happy. Last season was a poor season. This one was even worse. This was a season from hell. Finishing rock bottom, just 5 wins all league season. They've got a lovely ground at Imperial Fields, and hopefully at step 5 they can bounce back stronger than ever. They're going to need their supporters more than ever. I think their supporters are very underrated. They are quite noisy. I don't know. I didn't see them play last season, but previous season they were fantastic. So I wish them the best, and hopefully they can come straight back up at some point. And Bedfont Sports, all went wrong for them as well. They finished in the playoffs of the previous season, losing to Hanwell in the playoff semi-final. Another club that did very well last season, but this season just wasn't for them. It all went wrong, and they find themselves down in step 5 next season. Another league I wasn't going to mention, but I will do anyway, is Isthmian League North. I don't know anything about these other teams in this division, so I don't mean to be disrespectful there, but I thought I'd mention it because of Hashtag United, a certain online YouTube team. They had a fantastic year, winning the league on 98 points, ahead of Sudbury in 2nd position. For those who don't know, Hashtag United, like I said, are a YouTube team. They don't represent a geographical location, hence the name. But for Spencer Owen at the helm, they've been fantastic the last few years, gaining, I think it's 3 promotions in 5 years, something like that. They've come from step 6 or 7 of non-league, and now they're in step 3 next season. So yeah, you can have a look at the other teams. Tilbury, Holdbridge Sports getting relegated. Yeah, I don't know more than that, I'm afraid, guys. So sorry if I don't mean to offend anyone if you are supporting any of these sides. But let me know if you do support one of these sides, how you feel your league season has been. But like I said, it's great to see Hashtag in step 3 going up the leagues. They are a Marmite side. Some love them, some hate them. I love what they're doing. They're getting a lot of young people into non-league football, which is fantastic. Non-league is a growing part of football, and I think it deserves it. You know, you feel like you're part of these clubs, and I think Hashtag United are doing a very good job promoting non-league in general. So last league from step 4 that I'm going to be showing you today is the Southern League South, and AFC Totton winning the league title on 88 points. A fantastic season for them. They've got a great stadium in the Snow Stadium. They find themselves at step 3 next season, and I think they're going to be a very good outfit, and I'd say a contender for promotion from step 3 even, dare I say. I think they're a very good side. Joining them is Sholing, who finished in 2nd position, so the top 2 sides went up, and rightly so. They beat, I think it was Hamworthy United in the playoff final at the home of Sholing, so 2 worthy promotion sides there. And getting relegated was Cinderford and Slimbridge. And in the relegation playoffs, you had Biddeford and Bristol Manor Farm. I know Bristol Manor Farm stayed up. They won their game. But I don't know about Biddeford. So if you know the result, let me know down below. And one last thing from this division, Lymington Town in 18th have been relegated, even though they didn't finish in the relegation spot, because they failed ground grading. Now we're going to go into the depths of Step 5 non-league football, kicking things off with the Combined Counties Premier South. This is a league that I'm quite close to, so I enjoy going to some of these sort of games. Rains Park Vale won the league on 99 points, with Badshot Lee in 2nd. Badshot Lee also gained promotion to Step 4, and they will find themselves in the Isthmian South Central next season. Jersey Bulls, an Ireland team, finishing in 3rd. They were a fantastic outfit. When I saw them play at Fleet Town a few months ago, they were brilliant. Great attacking display. They're such a good side. Another team I want to mention from this league is Farnham Town in 6th position. They started off the season very poorly under Sean Birchnell, but under the new management team, including Paul Johnson. They've turned things around, not only finishing in 6th position, which would have been a playoff spot if there was a proper playoff system in this league. There is next season, thankfully, but also they did win the Southern Combination Cup. So overall, I think a good first season for the young guys behind the scenes who are taking the club to new levels with record-breaking attendances and on average doubling their average attendance. So a fantastic effort from them this season. Fleet Town as well, and lastly Fleet Town had a poor season, finishing in 18th, but they do start for next season. Now to the northern version of the Combined Counties Premier League. Ascot United were the league champions on 102 points. What a season that has been for them, and they find themselves at step 4 next season. They play, coincidentally, at the Racecourse Ground, which is right next to, of course, Ascot Racecourse. Fantastic club, they're on the up. I believe one day they could make the dizzying heights of step 3. Reading City finishing in 3rd, that's a good position for them, and Egham Town in 2nd. I'm not too sure which teams got relegated and the other ones got promoted, but Oxley Jets getting relegated, finishing in 20th position. Terrible home record for them, just 3 league home wins, so they find themselves down in step 6 next season. Chelmsford St Peter, actually, who were in step 4 the previous season, had a very poor season. First term in step 5, 18th position, not a good start for them. And Wembley, the home of course, the famous Wembley Stadium, finishing in 9th position. And last but certainly not least, the final league I'll be showing you in this video is the last league from step 5, and it's the Wessex League Premier Division. Wow, what a shock this was. All season long, I think the favourites were AFC Portchester. They were at the top by what could be considered quite a margin, but they failed on the last day of the season. Horndean were league champions on 98 points, but AFC Portchester finishing down in 4th position. And they've also got up front Brett Pittman, who is a former Bournemouth and Portsmouth player. He's scored plenty of goals for them, and somehow it went wrong in the last 2 or 3 league games, I think, for them. And AFC Stoneham and Bemerton Heath Harlequins even finished above them. So it's been a tough old end of the season for AFC Portchester. Bemerton Heath Harlequins, I'm sure, are the other team that got promoted from this league. One that I know certainly got relegated is Alresford Town, who just got 1 league win all season by the looks of it. So that's been an awful season for Alresford. So that is step 5 of non-league, and that is the end of all the leagues that I want to show in this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like down below, it is greatly appreciated. And very soon I will be doing a similar video to this before the start of next season, involving these leagues, previewing who I think will go up, who will go down, and who I think will do alright, and anything else that I can think of in between. But it's been a great non-league season. Sadly, non-league on Sunday didn't quite happen again because of how busy I've been improving the vlogs and doing other things. But hopefully I'll be doing a few more other non-league videos during the course of the summer. So yes, thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. We look forward to next season. I cannot wait for it. And until then, I will see you next time.